In today's video, we're going to take a dive into the June 2025 housing market update for Cedar City, Utah and St. George, Utah to give you an idea of what these two housing markets are currently doing. My name is Elizabeth Prisbrey. I'm with Stratum Real Estate Group. If you are looking to buy or sell here in Southern Utah, I would love to help you out with that. Please feel free to call, text, or email anytime. That contact information is down below in the description. Now I've jumped into some slides to give you a visual of these two markets. It helps me when I can see it and hear it at the same time. Hopefully that does the same for you. We're going to take a look at Cedar City first. As a recap, Cedar City has a population a little over 40,000 people. So this housing market is going to look a little bit different than St. George. Now this housing market update is for June 2025. It is the beginning of June. So it is going to pull data for the month of May all the way to May 31st. I have to wait until June until I can pull that data. So what we're actually looking at is the month of May year over year for the last 10 years. We have our new listings in blue. That is everything that came to the market in the month of May. We have our active listings in red. That is everything that is currently on the market and available to purchase. Pending is in purple. This is everything that is currently in contract but has not sold yet. And then of course we have our sold in green, meaning everything that sold in the month of May. What I want you to notice is our active listings, everything that's currently on the market. This jumped up quite a bit from 2024 to 2025. Last year we had 217 active listings in Cedar City in the month of May. This year we have 321. This is the most amount of listings that we've had in the last 10 years, if we take it all the way over, in our Cedar City market. So our inventory is going up considerably. We did have more new listings come to the market from 24 to 25. So in 2024, we had 122 hit the market in May. This year, we had 142 hit the market in May. This tells me that some of these homes are sitting on the market a lot longer than they were last year. So although we had more new listings added to the market than we did last year, we have so many more active listings than we did last year. So some of those are holding over from the previous month. Now, what's also interesting is our pending and our sold listings have gone down from last year. Both of our pending and sold are still higher than they were in 2022, but they are lower than they were in 2024. So last year we closed 79 homes in the month of May. This year we have closed 73 homes. So that has gone down. We had 85 pending in May last year. This year we have 67 pending. So you can see we have inventory. It is coming back. However, we don't have as many buyers in the market. So you can really see our market in Cedar City is starting to shift. This active listings is a big indicator of that. The other thing I want to take a look at is our median days on market versus our average days on market here in Cedar City. Remember, median's going to mean that half of the homes that sold in the month of May sold in less than this 35 days. The other half of the homes took longer than that 35 days to sell. Average is going to be when you take all of the homes, you add them up, and you divide by the number of homes that you've added up. So this is quite a bit higher. The average days on market right now in Cedar City is 74 days, whereas the median days on market is 35 days. So where you really see the discrepancy between these two are those homes that maybe are on the higher end of the market that are going to sit a little bit longer because their buying pool isn't quite as large, or those homes could just be completely overpriced and no one is interested in buying them until they come down. But what I really want you to see is that our average days on market has gone up quite a bit from last year. Last year, we were 56 days on market. Our median days on market has also gone up from last year. Last year, we were at 32 days. This year, we're at 35 days. Our median days on market is still lower than we saw in 2023, though, and we were still selling homes. Average days on market, we haven't seen it that high though since 2019 when we were at 75 days. Now I like to show this because it's just an indicator of how our market is moving. I do want to look at the absorption rate, but I want to jump into St. George first. You can see St. George has done the exact same thing. Our active listings are way up, higher than we've had in the last 10 years in St. George. So you can see this market shifting as well. We have really been in a seller's market for a long time. So we're going going to take a look at what is happening and what we can kind of expect moving forward. So yeah, last year in 2024, we had 582 active listings in the month of May. And this year we have 777, and that jumped up quite a bit. You can see our new listings also went up from 250 last year to 302 this year. A large increase there, but not quite the same amount on our active listings. So again, some of those are being held over from the previous month. Now our pending listings, they kind of held steady from 2024 to 2025. Last year, our pending were 187 in the month of May. This year, we're at 190, really pretty close. However, our sold homes in May, they went down. Last year, we were at 221. This year, we're at 164. So that's a pretty good drop for how many homes sold in the month of May. That's actually the lowest in the last 10 years. This is the least amount of closings in the month of May for St. George for 10 years. So we have all these homes coming to the market. We have less homes selling. You're kind of starting to get an idea of what is happening in our two markets here in Southern Utah. But before we go to that absorption rate, I want to take a look at the days on market for St. George. I won't go over what median and average is again, but last year in St. George, on average, homes were sitting on the market for 64 days, and this year, 78 days. As far as the median, last year, they were on for 27 days. This year, we're closer to 42 days. So homes are sitting longer than they were last year before they are being sold. Now, for both average and median here, we haven't seen the homes sitting on the market longer than that since 2016. So for almost 10 years now. Now, the absorption rate is a good indicator of how healthy our market is and what direction it's going. Is it going to be a seller's market? Is it going to be a buyer's market? Is it a balanced market? You can see St. George here in blue, we're at 4.86 month supply. Here in green for St. George, we're at 4.59 months supply. When we look at that month's supply, that's telling us that if nothing changed in the market, that's how long it would take to sell off all of the inventory that we currently have. So that many months. Now, although you saw our active listings go up in both of these markets and surpass what we've seen in the last 10 years, Cedar City's not quite to where it was 10 years ago. St. George is the highest months inventory that it has had in the last 10 years. And both of these really jumped up from where they were a year ago. For example, Cedar City was 3.33 months supply, with this year being 4.86. St. George was 3.57 months supply, this year being 4.59. So both of them have gone up quite a bit. Now, what I want you to see here is what this impact has on our home prices. So for example, and this is more nationally, we'll take a look at what it looks like for our local market, but nationally, when you have less than a 6-month supply, that's considered your seller's market. So home prices will tend to appreciate in a seller's market. If it's between 6 and 7 months supply, that's considered a neutral market. So home prices are only going to appreciate with inflation. And then if you have more than a 7-month supply, that's considered a buyer's market and home prices will depreciate. Now, I want to take a look at the median sales price for both of these locations to see if those home prices are holding steady, if they are going down, or if they are going up based on the month's inventory that we have. Now, for Cedar City, I did put the median and the average. I know some of you like to see the average. I feel like the median's a little bit better indication because the median is right in the middle. So half of the homes sold for less than that, half of the homes sold for more than that. But I do think that it's important to also take a look at the average. We have our median in blue, we have our average in red. For Cedar City, you can see our median sales price was $390,000 last year to end out May. This year, it's ending out May at $382,900. So slightly down there in our median sales price. Our average, however, had a decent increase. Last year, we were at $406,284. This year, we're at $431,098. For the most part, our sales price here in Cedar City has continued to trend upward over the last 10 years with a few minor dips. Now, if we take a look at this absorption rate, we're not quite to that 6 to 7 month supply where it says it's balanced, and we're not over 7 month supply where it says we will start to appreciate. So that's kind of an indication that Cedar City doesn't fully follow the national trend here. Now in St. George, you see there was a big dip from 2022 to 2023 for the median sales price in St. George. This is really one of the only times in 2022 where the average and the median have matched up within a few $1,000s from one another. Typically, the average is higher than the median sales price. But if we're just taking a look at last year, our median sales price in St. George was $490,000. This year, it's $506,000. So that went up a little bit there. Last year, the average sales price in St. George was $640,725. This year, it's $616,913. So that one went down while our median went up. Now, if we take a look at that compared to the absorption rate here in St. George, we're still under that 5-month supply. So that makes sense as to why the median sales price in St. George is trending upward if we take a look at this slide. What I found recently in the market is that buyers are in a holding pattern. Sellers are starting to come back. However, buyers are still waiting. This slide from Clever Real Estate says that 32% of those who planned a major purchase this year say they're now delaying it, including 1 in 4 who plan to buy a home and 1 in 8 who plan to sell a home. This is what I'm actually seeing in Cedar City and St. George. You can see more new listings are coming to the market in Cedar City and more new listings are coming to the market in St. George. However, both of these markets, the sales went down. You can see it for Cedar City and for St. George. So that begs the question, why is this? So I pulled some reasons as to why buyers are waiting right now and why sellers are waiting right now. The number one reason I see are those high mortgage interest rates. Those have been high for several years now. Although we are seeing buyers come back to the market, realizing that they're not going to drop overnight like they thought they would, those rates are still pretty high and that prices out a lot of people. We also have the affordability challenges. Home prices went up significantly and we are still waiting for those to level out. So between high mortgage interest rates and home affordability, that is keeping a good amount of buyers on the sidelines. This third one, this is one that I've seen a lot. This is our economic uncertainty. I told you last month, I had several buyers that said, you know what, I'm going to press pause right now because I don't know what's happening with the stock market. I don't know what's happening with tariffs. They're just holding and waiting to see what is going to happen. So yeah, economic uncertainty is a big challenge right now. And then the last one I wanted to note is a lot of buyers are waiting for those price adjustments. As we see more of those homes come back to the market that we are seeing, we are getting more inventory. Sellers have no choice but to either not sell their home or lower the price on their home so that they can come to an agreement with buyers. Although we are still slightly under a 5-month supply for Cedar City and St. George, it is becoming more of a balanced market here in southern Utah. Homes that aren't priced correctly are sitting. Those are the ones that are longer days on market and buyers and sellers aren't coming to an agreement. Now, here are a few reasons why sellers are tending to hold off. Number one is the mortgage rate lock that's in effect. If you're a seller and you have a mortgage interest rate that's 3% or lower, there are a lot of people that have that. It's hard to find that incentive to move if you're not needing to downsize or get a larger home or you're switching for a job. There are still reasons that people are moving that they're forced into those higher mortgage interest rates. But if you don't have to, why would you want to give up that low mortgage interest rate? I wouldn't blame you. The second reason sellers are holding off is that increased inventory leading to more competition. You can see in both Cedar City and St. George, that inventory has gone up. There's one neighborhood here where I saw about 6 to 7 townhomes pop up in the same amount of time. If you are selling your townhome in this development, you have more competition than you have had in the last few years. So you have to get aggressive with your pricing or you're holding on to your home until you can sell it. The third one is a lot of sellers are anticipating the market improving. So they're holding off until things improve and they can get what they want out of their home. And then the last one, of course, personal and financial considerations always come into play here. This kind of goes along with the mortgage rate lock. If there's not a reason to move and you don't have the funds to do that, then you're sitting tight until you do. Now, one thing I want to note for you sellers is that you will not trick the market. You will not trick these buyers, especially if they are working with a realtor. We give them all the data. They are seeing what's selling. They are comparing to other homes that are on the market. If you're going to list just to see if you can get it, it's not going to sell. It's going to sit there. We are not in the market of 2021. We are in 2025. And unless you are prepared to be competitive and prepared to look at the comps and the data, your home will sit. It's not going anywhere, and it could end up hurting it in the long run. Now, even with all of that said, for the holding for buyers and sellers, it's important to note that real estate has still been voted the best long-term investment, with 35% here for real estate. This is a Gallup poll. So even though there's market uncertainty, there's enough data and stability in the market to give consumers the confidence that real estate is still the best long-term investment. Now, of course, this is a poll, but I will say that real estate is an investment that you can use, you can live in. It's not just setting by the side until you pull that money out. You can put this investment to use. Now, just really quick before I go, because I know you like to see the inflation rate and where mortgage interest rates currently are, our inflation has gone down, lowest it's been in the last year. We're down to 2.31%. You know the goal is 2%. Of course, this is a month behind, so this is ending April 2025. We're always a month behind on that inflation rate, but you can see lowest it's been in the last 3 years and not quite back to where it was in 2021, of course, when everything was holding, but really starting to look good on inflation. As far as mortgage interest rates, the average 30-year fixed mortgage interest rate, according to Freddie Mac, is at 6.89%. That's going to vary based on your circumstance, how much you're putting down, what your debt to income ratio is, what your credit score looks like. Of course, you'll want to meet with the lender. I can connect you to phenomenal lenders that will help you determine what your interest rate is going to be. But really, we're still sitting in the high sixes, not quite as high as we have been at 7.03, but still not much lower than it, 6.89%. So these are staying high. They're holding steady. I can't begin to forecast where these mortgage interest rates are going to be, but it's still good to stay on top of them and see where they are at. Now that was quick, but you can see we have a shifting market right now. We have a lot more inventory coming back, still not quite a buyer's market, but becoming very balanced here for Cedar City and St. George. So those are things to take a look at. Mortgage interest rates are still high. We don't know when those are coming down, but when those come down, it brings a lot more buyers back to the market. If you're someone that's looking to purchase a home, meet with your lender, get control of your finances, be ready to go for when those rates drop and you can jump in. Or if you don't want to fight the market because all those buyers are going to come back at the same time, then you go in, you get what you can afford now, and when those mortgage interest rates drop, you can refinance at that point. If you are a seller, pay attention to your local data. Get with me or another agent if you find I annoy you and figure out where you should be listing your home. Do not try and list it higher to see if that's what you can get. Pay attention to the comps because it will just sit. There's too much competition right now. All right. I kept it honest. I kept it real. If you would like to use me, my name is Elizabeth Prisbrey. I'm with Stratum Real Estate Group. Please feel free to reach out anytime. I promise you I will respond. All right. Until next time, have a wonderful day.